So the talk today will be about show versus spectacle and music. So we have here three event organizers, VJs. I will let them present themselves in a minute. And it's mostly about how will the future of events look like with all these fireworks, all these visuals, LED, 3D screens coming up. Will there be a future for the DJ? Will the VJ be the DJ eventually? So I let first get our guests present themselves, and then we dive into the talk.
Hi everyone. Yeah, no good.
Yeah, should be fine.
Okay, so my name is Sarah. I'm from Warsaw, and I'm doing a project that is called Tia Crush, which is organizing the techno events around the Poland. And also the second one I'm doing, it's called Muse Festival, and we just had the first edition of our festival, which was also mostly focused around techno, but also with other kinds of electronic music. And also besides that, I'm a DJ.
My name is Mairead. I've been organizing techno events and some house events since about 2008 in Amsterdam. I've also worked in clubs and festivals, and I've organized illegal raves. I've done it all. I've worked in every aspect of the clubs, the parties, the festivals. So.
Hey, my name is Malika Maria. I'm a visual artist and a VJ. So for 14 years, I'm just doing live visuals at all kinds of parties, mostly techno, electronic, and just showing disturbing images to the people. And yeah, it's my passion and what I love to do. And of course, I love music, so it aligns.
Thanks very much. So then let's just dive into the topic. So these days you all experience club events, festivals. So what draws you personally to an event? Is it the visual, like I say, Tomorrowland or Awakenings, also with their stage designs or whatever, or is it more you still go more for the clubbing, the undergroundish more, where it's sparely lit, but where the music creates more of a vibe? So what is your personal preference, or in general also in your area you live?
I would say that for me personally, I prefer like more underground events. However, I very much like when those events have like a bit of a spectacle. So there's not only like a sound system, a DJ, a basement, and that's it, but still like some lights are going on there, because I believe that creates like this whole kind of other event. I mean, I believe like those are like connected. Those are like full show.
Great. What do you think?
For me, I focus a lot on the music aspect, and I do prefer kind of more darker kind of underground clubs. However, I do like nobody can hate the gas howler. I mean, honestly, the spectacle of Awakenings is quite like spectacular. And also you have like organizations like Vault Sessions, when they do it in the big warehouses, and they do really put on a spectacle, but they do focus a lot on the music, which is something that I really enjoy. I like the music I prefer is because the people who like that music, it's a same sort of crowd, same sort of vibe of people. So I don't think I would prefer somewhere like Tomorrowland, where you have a very EDM style like crowd, where they kind of need the spectacle in order to generate the crowd.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I've been a raver for like since 2007. I saw a lot, I traveled a lot, I partied a lot. I really respect the underground culture, but like you said, in Awakenings, been a fan for many, many years. Like Vault Session. I mean, for me, music is very important, but also like a real vibe where everything like counts, and where people are respected. And like things like Tomorrowland and stuff, it's also not my thing because it's too commercial. But in general, there's so many aspects. It can be a club, it can be underground, it can be like Awakenings Festival. everything enough. It just needs to be quality, music wise. And of course, yeah, I love dope visuals, but a dope light show. It's super important when all senses are like, active. So you can have like the full experience. So yeah.
But just connecting to that one, so the full experience. So with all these technologies that coming up, virtual reality, augmented reality, 3D screens, and all that stuff, will that be more in the future, or will it just be now a fancy thing? It's the time of the moment, and it will fade away. So, as an expert in the DJing, what do you think? What will happen?
I mean, since I do this for 14 years, you see, of course, technology never stops. Of course, when like Germany is still like, it's a different scene. There's less LED screens, while in the Netherlands, they love this. I'm not going to say fancy, but they really invest in the full experience, So I really see this growing, and I really hope through the years that it's going to be like art in general, like music connecting with these visuals, with this light, and everything becomes one. So for sure, I'm very positive that everything is still growing. And yeah, I'm excited always for the future and yeah, what it can bring.
What do you think? You told me that earlier you prefer the underground. Is that something disappearing? Because there was a time when there was very much so everyone with the phone just around. Now there's a little bit of a wave where they make the policy of no phone policy inside. So there's a little bit of a counter movement to that one. Would it be?
Well, I do find that a lot of the events that specialize mostly in like the sound as opposed to like the big style visuals, they do tend to have a no phones policy, but they do have some immersive aspects of these things. So there's some organizations like Orphic and some other organizations who they do have some other art going on throughout the event. It may not it's not necessarily fireworks or anything, but they don't have the big fireworks or the big huge light scene. But I think in the future, for environmental reasons, there's going to be a huge shift in the way they do things. Because a lot of the times those very big spectacle shows do impact the environment in a negative way. So I think there's going to be a change on how they will probably use future technology to create the big bang effect, but without, say, the fireworks, because fireworks is probably not going to be sustainable in about 5 or 10 years due to environmental laws.
And yeah, so what is then I think you're the youngest in the group. So what is then the TikTok generation kind of letting about?
I mean, I'm not that young. However, I believe that commercial side will be more commercial. So I think like the shows like Tomorrowland or like Ibiza, it will be more and more commercialized, and it will bring more and more publicity into that. And because of that, I mean, we can see the shows like Afterlife, how they are growing. Like we can see the Sphere in Las Vegas appearing. So I feel like the visual aspects is being more and more important. And I believe it's because of the social media, the impact that it has on our life. So basically the most things that we do, we want to show it on Instagram, for example. So that's why those shows are focusing that much on this aspect. However, I believe that underground will still stay underground. I mean, they can, like, the organization can change, because like some organizations that used to be underground are now a bit more commercial. However, like the people are still in common. So I believe like maybe a younger generation, like there are many people who believe in this very underground stage. So I feel like they'll be creating it in the whole new way all the time.
But then does that also mean that the visuals, because you're certain that the visuals is something important for Instagram, for social media, showing that I'm present at some special event? But does that not really take away from the experience? So is the music really getting then something, it's an add-on to the visual? Is the DJ then not, he's just, actually we could take away the DJ and we just put a screen there. We go in the movie theaters and then we're putting a nice visual there, having people dancing. And will that be more like the future that we can envision?
I mean, I think that nowadays we are just seeing like more and more people with phones, and everyone are saying that they're not enjoying the music; they're just there for recording. To be honest, I'm not sure if that's true because I still feel like you can record some stuff. Like we all want to have some memories after the show. However, I wouldn't say that they did not come to the show for the music. I mean, like, this is the whole purpose. Like, they're coming for the DJ and they're for their organization. So I don't feel like the visual side will be like over the music. However, I think that can be on the same level.
But then that also said that with these visuals, so eventually, Malika, then you are as expert in that field. And for those who haven't seen her once VJing, that's an experience seeing, because she dances more than the DJ in front of the stage. So, and normally when you're going to a place and you have these technical guys who make lighting and everything, they're just sitting there. They have the best time of their life, but they don't move. And that's exactly the opposite of the experience that you have when you perform. So is the VJ taking over in a certain way?
The thing is,
your style?
I mean, okay, we're always from the house, you know? So first of all, the reference I want to make, if people know this illegal parties like techno raves, where people dance into a speaker, the DJ is actually not visible. I always love this concept that people are really coming for the music, dance their stress away, just like, live in this moment, enjoy, have a good time. Of course, lights, visuals, we're always from the house, but we're also bringing shows. So I don't think it's like taking over. It's really to be equal, to bring this whole that people really have, like, can lose themselves in something. Of course, me, I will never stand still. People come to me, are you a DJ? Which always makes me laugh because I really enjoy what I do and I love music. I love when it's good, So I'm always going to let myself go. But yeah, I love the equal respect as a light operator does this show, as a VJ does this show, as the DJ, of course, we're all eyes on the DJ. But I think, yeah, everything's like equal, So
Does it not take away from the experience somehow? Because we talked about the sphere or something like that. So
I think it can add. But of course, that's my opinion. I mean, I like this when everything just fits together. Like there's a beautiful light show. Some, for me, okay, my style, some disturbing, creepy visuals with some dark music. Ah, I love it.
Yes, so I'm also coming from a time where techno was there were 3 lights just flashing up, smoky room, and then the techno beats going on. And within an hour, you're in another sphere without being in Las Vegas. But that's back in the days. Today's it's a visual is not really just a light. Even if you put a light show on, even with today, where you make your event, there's a lot of lights, moving heads. They all have to be programmed, so it's not an easy task anymore to just plug and play. You need experts to set it up, lighting, to manipulate it afterwards, from the controller point of view. Is that not also a burden for the future? Because you need to have all these knowledge now also bringing into your team, collected or whatever, to have even an event going on. Is that not what you see as event organizer? Is that
I've noticed that, like, especially in the last couple of years, art has played like a bigger part within an event itself. So sometimes you will actually have someone painting live while the DJ is playing. You will have someone doing a live, like, interactive, like, movement piece. So it's not just the VJ or whatever. There's a lot going on. I find that, like, things like art and fashion are coming into the music scene more. And even there's a lot of clubs that are, like, if they have a theme or whatever, if they have a bunch of, say, Asian DJs from like Southeast Asia, like Japan or whatever, they will also serve some Japanese food or some Indian, dependent. It's just it's becoming a lot more immersive, and there's even options for people to take part and be part of the art itself. So I feel like while we may get rid of the huge fireworks and the excessive light shows, which are, like, environmentally really bad and also very expensive to run, there's going to be more, like, movement-based art to more like interactive art and more participating art.
Interesting. And you see it already happening
Yeah.
in Amsterdam? Or is-
Oh yes. One of the person you have on a panel later, at one of his parties, there was someone. He had a massage therapist. There was someone doing tattoos. There was 4 people painting like portraits and painting like canvases and stuff. So there was a lot of interaction, even though it was on the left-hand side of legal. So
And how is it then in Warsaw? Is then also then the VJ taking over in the same level with the technology and all that stuff?
I mean, the very important thing was mentioned before, that it takes a lot of people to pull up this big show, and also the budget. So basically, we need more and more professionals, and like bring in like the whole gear, the lights, everything, like the LED screens. It costs money. So basically, like I would say that the gap between the different promoters is getting bigger and bigger, because like if you are a big commercial promoter, so for example, this year we invited Verknupt to Poland, which is also from Netherlands. So they're pulling like a huge show, like one of the biggest shows that I would say we had in Poland for years. And like I'm a local promoter. I mean, we invite also like DJs from abroad. However, our budgets will never be as huge as they have. So I mean, we can try to be that much appealing, and we try to like keep up. However, for certain reasons, we just cannot be the same. So as much I would say we would like to bring a bit more, it's not yet possible for us, because basically in Poland in general, the scene is much smaller. We don't have that many people listening to electronic music. So basically we need to be appealing to a very small group of people, and then we have to like go against, I mean, it's not a fight of course, but we are standing against like this huge promoters like Verknupt, or we'll also have I think Teletech coming to Poland. So yeah, it's hard.
This is actually very interesting. So as a relatively young, say, event organizer, then what do you focus then your event on? So if the budget is a topic, so VJ visuals, they are expensive, especially if you create something unique that hasn't been seen. So what is your focus then? Is then more on the music again?
Pretty much, yeah. And then also like this whole branding, because we believe that we have like very underground beliefs. So we are not saying like no photo policy, but like restrain from taking your photos on the dance floor, or like please don't use the flashlight. Like invite the locals to the show, but still like have some bigger names. Like we really want to create like community around this. So we try to do like very, I would say, elegant parties. So basically like I'm actually observing that we do a parties that last for about 9-10 hours, and we have people dancing until the very end, which is not happening that much for the bigger events, which we are very proud of. So yeah, so actually when like the budget stands in your way, I would say you have to go for like something deeper, and like emotions, experience, something like this to move people.
But just one question, because I got intrigued. What is elegant events?
Okay, so I mean, like we are bringing like some additional lights. We do the show, but we are trying to not be like this huge flashing everything, but just like yeah, a bit more elegant.
Fair enough. But then also then, as you said, then that you're using your latest technology then for experts. So is AI then also in your visuals a topic? or for creation? Or
Never. Sorry, no. Okay, everybody has their flow, but
but is it taking? Is there a
I
trend?
see it. And to be honest, there's lots of artists using this. And okay, I respect everybody's tool and everybody's way of working. I want to create it myself. And, for me, it's my work are emotions. I want to catch emotions. That's why I film all the visuals myself. I'm never going to use, abstract. It's not my thing. I need to film people, my own face. I need to capture that, this boundary I want to touch. So AI is never going to be in my work. Sorry. I rather die. No, really. Okay, that's a statement.
Statement. We hope we not. But yeah, so definitely there's then the art, the creative, the craft of creating these visuals, which is very important, and I think that's also something that people will certainly recognize then when they experience it. But is this in general? This is now your opinion, but in Amsterdam, is that taking over? Is it not taking over a little bit? You get these. I saw them sometimes. You can get also some lighting kits. You just plug it in and play. You see it often on wedding stuff, but you see it more and more because the budget, especially for new people or younger people who try to make a party, it's really difficult. So the latest, just as a little note that I got this weekend, I was in a store where you can buy DJ equipment, and I asked, okay, do you sell the CDJ 3000? Yeah, we sell it, but you have to wait 1.5 years. I said, okay, well, that's certainly not the time period I'm willing to wait for some gear. But that might be also because, and also the price tag is, of course, up to the roof. But so how do young people then come? So we heard that they go with elegant event. It's a nice term to use, but I know what you mean. So more the lighting, more the, not that really, we all know when you're eating too much sugar, how you learn that. So it's a little bit more decent. But yeah, how do you think that's the technology can be a partner or be? There's also the trend of going more vinyl again. Well, and everything analog some kind of gets a little bit of a kickback.
There's also another option of learning doing like analog. And I know, like, say a Roland will cost about 10,000 euros or whatever, but some of the other analog machines are a lot cheaper. You can get a lot of free software in a lot of places. I think I did see this demonstration once where Rainer Sonneveld was doing something with AI. He wasn't like promoting it or saying this is the way or to do it or whatever, but I think he might have done something with it just as a live thing, just not a paying show where people paid, but just as a streaming thing. It was interesting to see, but I don't see, like, I would rather AI do my dishes or clean my room and let me focus on my creative aspects. I don't want AI taking I think creativity is the soul of a person.
So Adrian, you heard it. I got the dishwashing robots out also.
Yeah, I mean, if they can get AI to like clean the cat litter boxes and clean my room, then yes, I'm very pro AI. But I just, unless it's used as a tool in the right way and not like David Guettaing it, so to speak, And if you're unfamiliar with the term, it's where he was pretending to DJ even though all his equipment was off, and then he realized then the equipment turned off and he was still pretending to DJ, and it took him 20 minutes for someone to tell him that actually the soundtrack in the background had stopped working 20 minutes. So it actually really happened. It's a real thing.
Sugar has that effect.
It did really happen, but I just hope that like people don't use AI to be like lazy, because learning like with all that, like, especially if you're using analog equipment, it's super fun and interesting. And when you make the mistakes is when you make the best things, It's also with cooking, anything, anytime you make a mistake, it's when the best thing really happens. So AI is about finding perfection, and, we need to accept that like perfection is, it comes from like imperfection and flaw.
Very nice. You mentioned then also then you mentioned the craft of it, but how important do you think then all these other technologies? So AI is one aspect of generating content, but these sensoric equipment, these Apple Vision glasses or 3D glasses. Recently, Facebook released some new Ray-Ban or something like that glasses with augmented reality. Will something like that also be entering the dance drawer?
Freaks me out a little, but yeah, who am I?
Have you seen something like that already? Or?
Not really. I mean, okay, I'm not really also focused by looking at that, to be honest. It's all stuff that not really interests me. I'm maybe too, I don't know, pure for that. I don't know. It's like something, but yeah, let's see.
I saw it in the Our House music. The Our House music experience. They had like this floor that was kind of shaking because they were going through the history of the music, and so they did kind of have the floor shaking so you could get that whole feeling and vibe of being in this crazy noisy warehouse without the sound volume being so intense that your ears get blown out. So you did get the whole kind of shaking thing. And I do see that, yeah, there could be a space for that. But then again, I think a lot of people kind of self-medicate to get their own kind of experiences when it comes to that, if I'm honest. And in an environment where people tend to like self-medicate for recreational reasons, I don't know if adding a bunch of like visual glasses would really benefit.
Yeah, but perhaps not on the dance floor itself, but staying at home. So that if we don't, you said earlier, then the sustainability point of view is a big aspect. Eventually, is that not an option that people don't even have to go anywhere anymore? They could put their glasses on, get there in their metaverse, and something like that, and having them the visuals kind of projected in their brain.
Oh yeah, this guy I hooked up with once, he showed me he had these VR glasses and he had VR porn. That was weird. I had to try it because I was like, what is this, But that was weird because I was like the guy and I had like 3 girls like visually doing stuff on me. It was a very weird experience. I don't know.
Okay, I didn't know the whole topic come from VJ to Pornhub, but
Sorry, it was just the reference like that VR thing because
for the respect of the thing, many times the porn industry has been the trendsetter. So it depends for the VHS, which was versus the V2000. It was for the movies, which were taken over by the videos back in the days. It was all initiated by the porn industry. So nevertheless, it's worth watching that industry out for the trends that are popping up. So no bad about that. But yeah, so then also it's more about the new generation. So because we also see that the clubbing is a lot of clubs are closing. Festivals are kind of at this moment the anchor of survival for many, because that's some kind of attracts still people and is financially more viable. But yeah, it's that kind of new trend. The younger generation who grew up with TikTok, who grew up with being at home eventually on or more at home during their period where normally our generation was out. Perhaps they are also more sensitive or more open for these kind of solutions. Will you say something like experience it?
I mean, yes, I think COVID actually could have done something to it because that's true. Like the times when I was like going out a lot, like people who are younger for me, like about 5 to 10 years, they have been actually staying at home. However, I also, because I've been actually reading a lot about this stuff because that actually interests me a lot. And also, like, there's this huge change about the younger generation and about how they spend their free time. So basically, like, older generations used to like go out, party, like, meet people, and younger generation, like, they're still spending money like for like the things they enjoy, but they're more like about traveling, like boarding games, like they're not that much like going out. So yeah, I would say like this been also a huge impact on the scene and for the clubs. Because like the people grow up, so like a lot of people are not clubbing anymore, and like the younger generation is not coming anymore. So yeah, this is one thing. So I think like maybe just going back a little bit to this visual stuff, maybe like pushing these visuals is trying to be a bit more appealing to the younger generation. um I'm not sure if it works. I wouldn't say so, but yeah, like I think like the future is not looking that bright, because like this younger generation, they're not living this experience as much. Also, like about the thing with VR glasses, I mean, I really hope this not going to happen, because I can just imagine like going, like staying at home watching the show, and like I mean like being on a party is like meeting people, talking to people, like dancing to a stranger and just smiling to them. Like this is something I like at first I fell in love with when I started to go out, because this brings you like this whole like vibe and experience. So yeah, that would absolutely kill it.
But then, Malika, on that note, when you are partying, because you also kind of little, you are that influencer on that level as a VJ, so you have a huge follower base. So when you are playing, is there what kind of age group do you see there a shift in age of people that come?
Yeah, for me, my job, especially after COVID, it's like I'm working a lot in a way younger. Okay, I can say they're easily 90 to 2022, which was for me not in the beginning I worked. I also had like things changed, and to be okay, like exactly this new generation, it's exactly more TikTok and whatever, which I never gonna get. Like we went to the rave, nothing, nothing in our pocket, just dancing. So now it's like this whole, but yeah, this is how life is. I love that I've just been born earlier and I could experience in a different way. And of course, I appreciate it that I still can work, and I got so much love from this young people, which I adore. But yeah, I definitely see a change in age and just like how raving is now. But yeah, I respect it and I'm grateful. It's just like, yeah, how it is now.
Would you say as well you regret as well that the future
Um,
looks like this?
well, I've seen over the years, like I remember the first illegal rave I went to, you had to go to a phone box and call a number and they gave you a location. You had to wait for hours, and then they eventually turned up and broke into a warehouse and until the police showed up. And then and I've seen a progression over time as social media has impacted more. But I think in the last like pre-corona and post-corona, like especially in the last year or two, um, in the Netherlands, especially, maybe this is something that might benefit you. A lot of organizations are creating community groups, and they're posting within those groups, and they are, they're just trying to create like communities within the community, and then people get to know each other, and then they tend to go to these parties more. And then, you know, because events are so expensive to organize, because our locations are stupidly expensive, drinks are insanely expensive, then people say, hey, I can like do some face painting on someone. And they interact and get people involved into the organization. So make them feel part of the organization. And that's how they've been building events. And that's how like more of the visual and artistic stuff has come in. It's not just like, because not everyone can afford like Awakenings and Tomorrow style lighting. But, some young kid who's just been messing about in his bedroom, like during COVID, can say, hey, I bought some lights, so they can try things out. So I think there is, and because there was no rules or whatever, especially in the legal scene, there's no rules. So people can just turn up in a mishmash of, yeah, I'll paint your face while someone's throwing lights in your face or whatever. And yeah, things are getting created more organically. I mean, there will always be like space for Awakenings, and there will always be space for Tomorrowland and all those. But I think the future of the visuals and everything is gonna come from the underground, like people like crossing borders and creating new things, like people wearing visuals. I saw at a rave years ago in Rotterdam, people were wearing like shoes that lit up. They looked kind of cool. And it's also really handy because if you lose your friends, yeah,
Yeah, technology has certainly its advantages. So we're getting close to the next panel. So we have already our DJ who can prepare for the next performance. But before we get to that, I would definitely like to hear then a little bit about your week in ADE or week in Amsterdam. So what will you visit? What are your plans during this special week?
So actually, this is for me my third time in ADE. So I've been here before. So I would say I've already visited the most of the events I really wanted to visit. So this year I'm trying to be a bit more chill out. So today I'm also doing an event in this place, which you are all invited later on. Then on Saturday, I'm also going to one show that it's hosted by Intercell. I'm absolutely curious about the location because that's going to take place in the building of a prison. So I'm very
Yeah, he's super.
if you do
Next already.
you do
wonder-
events without like any single
No, we were about Intercell. So because
yeah
why I got curious because Intercell was one of the first here in the Netherlands who had these really huge LED screens with nice visuals, very nice setup that they made. So I'm curious that they have a new location.
Yes, then this is the first time they'll be hosting this new occasion. I mean, I don't speak Dutch, so I don't want to fool myself. But it's called Bias, I think.
Levenslang?
No. It's Bias, BAJ.
Yeah, that's Levenslang. I think it's the prison. I mean, I only know one location like that.
I mean, I'm not sure, but
The bias. So I think it's
maybe. Then, besides that, I really want to go to s1e3 show because I absolutely love them. I've been to many shows of Maroon, and I haven't been to s1e3 once, so I'm definitely looking forward to this one. And besides that, just walking around the city and just like try to find these small locations with pop-ups, like going to vinyl shops and stuff so on.
Right? When we will see what other events that you.
for me, I'm going to do a lot of walking around. I think 99% of the chance I'm going to lo-fi tonight. And then tomorrow I'm going to, after lo-fi, I'm going to Disturbia. I have a ticket for Disturbia, so we'll see what I like in the morning.
from friends of mine. So I really, yeah, they're gonna love that.
And then I have been generously granted some guest lists to see Freddie K on Saturday and Awakenings. So I might rest. I mean, what I did this morning was I made food for 5 days and then I even made dessert. I made like...
Say that is how you prepare for ADE. You prepare the food up front.
Yes, I have it in microwave packages, so I just bung it in the microwave while I take a shower and have a little nap, pet my cats, eat my food, and sleep if I can, and then go back out. And then, yeah, Sunday I have a few options. I think I'm going to Coda, but then I also have tickets to this Stilter Coop and OSI Rhythm, which is in NDSM, and I like that because it's close to my house. And but then I'm also bought a ticket to Radion on Sunday night, just in case I don't get to go to Coda. And then as a final, just in case, I'm going to try to go to Eerste Communie on Monday. But if that doesn't work, I have a backup ticket for Breakfast Club.
definitely a lot of work prepared here.
So this is why I made food.
Dependable.
This is why I made food. At ADE, honest to God, what like the parties, you literally make a strict plan on eating and sleeping. Once you do that, like you're done. You can do like 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the evening, and then yeah. And once you don't go too heavy on the first 2 days with the alcohol and everything else, you can kind of pace your way through because it's a marathon, not a sprint. But make sure you have easy to eat food like mashed potatoes. You cannot go wrong with mashed potatoes.
So you heard it. Mashed potatoes is the survival food for ADE. Malika, where will we see you during ADE?
Okay, it's the first year I don't have gigs. Normally I always did Intercell with Rebecca. Like, I love Intercell. Many, many beautiful memories. Of course, I come to ADE for this since 10 years. So this year is going to be super chill, but I'm going to go to Store on Sunday. Speedy J, Matthew Johnson, like 6 or how many DJs like Hardware Live. It's going to be beautiful. And of course, Saturday evening for s1e3 Awakenings, Haskadder. Favorite location since I'm like 16 years old. So yeah, it's just going to be super relaxed. I'm happy I could do this interview because it felt a bit off not to work at ADE because it's tradition. But hey, we're going to enjoy, but super chill. And yeah, blessed to be here. So thank you.
We are more than glad.
Oh, you might get called up to VJ if somebody is too tired.
Which happened last year. Not this year. I expected it, but no. But hey, Olga is so on. Exactly.